Hey guys, welcome to Cage That Next Opponent, where I will be looking at who I believe should be fighting Francis Ngannou next. Now of course this is a weekly series where we take one fighter from the previous card and try and predict or have a guess of who they should fight next in a top 5 style. So if that's your kind of thing, make sure to drop this a like, subscribe for more and share it on social medias. But let's get into the video. Starting off at number 5 we have Derrick Lewis. Now of course these two fought in 2018 in July I believe it was, and this fight didn't go as to plan for Francis Ngannou. Now Francis Ngannou is currently ranked second in the heavyweight after his victory over Cain Velasquez this weekend, and he's looking for a big opponent. Now 2018 wasn't exactly the year for Ngannou, it was very much a learning curve for him, and Derrick Lewis was one of those learning curves and blocks for him. They had a fight and it went the distance, but Francis Ngannou was very fearful, he was very intimidated by the takedowns which he'd experienced at UFC 220 from Stipe Miocic in that championship match at the beginning of last year. So I would like to see this as a rematch. Derrick Lewis is 21-6 and also comes off a loss of his own from Daniel Cormier, the champion of course from UFC 230. But he is fighting in March against Junior Dos Santos, so this is why it's at number 5 on the list, because it's unlikely that Francis Ngannou and Derrick Lewis will meet anytime soon. Depending on what happens in that fight, if Derrick Lewis gets in a quick turnaround, maybe we could have the rematch in May or June. Maybe on that July card even. Now moving on to number 4, and another rematch is Stipe Miocic. Now Stipe Miocic has been out since his loss for the championship in UFC 226 against Daniel Cormier. And of course, Stipe Miocic did beat Francis Ngannou at UFC 220 last year. And it was very much a fight where it was almost too early for Francis Ngannou, the Predator. He'd obviously knocked out Alistair Rotheram and was given that title opportunity, where Stipe Miocic, the more experienced fighter, and of course at that point a 3 times defended champion post victory for that, should I say, he wasn't ready and the takedowns were there. It was easy for Stipe Miocic, who had to worry about that hit and that punch that Francis Ngannou has got, but other than that, nothing much else, and Francis Ngannou did gas from that contest. It was his first and only 5-round fight, I believe, so something he had not done before, but with that experience now, he can definitely take that on with him. And again, I'd like to see a rematch. Stipe Miocic is calling for that heavyweight championship rematch against Daniel Cormier, but Francis Ngannou equally probably deserves a shot at the title, if not now, maybe in one more win definitely secures him another title shot. Now whether it's Stipe Miocic or someone else, maybe on this list even, who knows, but I'd like to see that fight as well. Now third on this list is someone we're waiting to return. It is of course Brock Lesnar. Now he is over at WWE and looks like he's going to be continuing his WWE stint up until WrestleMania, most likely. Now of course it was rumoured that he would be fighting Daniel Cormier for the heavyweight championship in his return, but depending on what happens with Daniel Cormier, we've also got the talk of John Jones. From Francis Ngannou himself could take that title fight, should I say. But if not for the championship, I'd like to see Francis Ngannou versus Brock Lesnar, the Beast versus the Predator. That does have a UFC promo all over it, doesn't it? Now, Brock Lesnar is only 5-3 in the UFC 1 no contest. His last fight was, of course, UFC 200 against Mark Hunt, where he did get a victory but later tested positive for PEDs, and was therefore the decision was overturned in Mark Hunt's favour. So he has been out for 2.5 years, coming up to 3. He's been in this USADA gene pool. Whether he's clean or not at the moment, we don't know. Nothing's come out saying he's positive or negative. So, and it's more or less what he wants to be doing with the UFC and WWE alike, which is why I've only put him on 3rd on this list. But Francis Ngannou, with that striking, matched with Brock Lesnar's ability to wrestle and get the takedowns, that is got a fight that has people salivating at the mouth, and I would certainly be one to watch that immediately. Now second on this list is the champ Daniel Cormier. Of course heavyweight champ should we say, before he lost it. Now second on this list is Daniel Cormier, heavyweight champ and former champ. He is the man at the moment. He's looking to retire in March, but I don't think that's going to happen. He is currently injured, so this fight may not happen for a little while. Again, July seems to be the time for Daniel Cormier to return, and after Francis Ngannou fighting in last weekend, I would say 3-4 months turnaround is perfect for him, although he didn't get hurt, so he could probably fight a lot sooner than that. Now Daniel Cormier's last fight was of course against Derrick Lewis at UFC 230, and he did get a submission in the second round of that fight. Now for me, Francis Ngannou hasn't quite earned himself an opportunity. I think he needs one more victory, but standing at number 2 in the ranked heavyweight division, he has very much got an argument for a title shot, especially after KO victories against Curtis Blades in November and now Cain Velasquez this weekend. So yes, I put this at number 2 at my list, and of course there is number 1. Now this is more of the dream matchup for me. At number 1 I had put Jon Jones. Now yes, I know Jon Jones is a light heavyweight, but he's also rumoured to be put up to heavyweight. Now of course his last victory was at UFC 232 against Alexander Gustafsson in a rematch, where he did get TKO victory in round 3. Now of course he is fighting in March at UFC 235 versus Anthony Smith, defending his light heavyweight championship. Now depending on what happens with that, you'd have to say he's a favourite for the victory. If he wins, does he want to move up to heavyweight to get a chance at that champ status, or is he going to stay at light heavyweight? Or if he loses that fight potentially, will he just move up to heavyweight and obviously look for the DC trilogy? Now I think Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou would be a very intriguing fight. I would say Jon Jones would probably be very heavily the favourite, depending on what we've seen so far from Francis Ngannou, but he has improved his wrestling, he said, and he's just not been able to show it yet. Of course his fight's been too quick. So yes, Jon Jones has got the superiority in jiu-jitsu, he's also got striking, but if Francis Ngannou can hit you, you're probably going to sleep, and I would like to see maybe Jon Jones get knocked out. It would be fun to see how he reacts to that. But Francis Ngannou, Jon Jones, that does have a ring to it, and that would be a card that would sell for sure. It's just whether the UFC wants it. Now I think there's sort of like a 4-way Grand Prix at the moment. It's Brock Lesnar if he returns, Stipe Miocic, Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones. But on that 5th and just on the outside is Francis Ngannou. If he can work his way into that, I would say he's probably favourite to fight Stipe at the moment and have a rematch against Stipe. So then at least the other 3 to do as they wish. Maybe DC fights Brock, then fights Jon Jones. So yes, that is the 5 opponents I want to see Francis Ngannou fight next. Let me know who you would like to see Francis Ngannou fight in the heavyweight division, and who in this top 5 would you like to see happen. Now make sure to drop this a like, comment, share it on social medias, and subscribe to Cage Chat, and I will see you on the next one.